One might imagine that the future Queen of the United Kingdom has access to an endless treasure trove to every diamond imaginable. But why is it then that over more than 10 years as a member of the royal family, the world has seen her wear only 4 different tiaras? Is it modesty, strict protocol, or something more profound? Each of these appearances is more than just a public outing. It is a meticulously crafted message. But one such appearance, occurring just recently, left even the most seasoned experts speechless, for the tiara she selected was believed to be virtually lost, having languished in obscurity for nearly 100 years. Today, we're not simply delving into the history of Kate Middleton's jewelry. We'll attempt to uncover what lies behind her selections and what secret each of these 4 legendary tiaras holds. To understand the story of Kate's first tiara, we need to transport ourselves back to 1936. It was a tumultuous period for Britain and all of Europe. The air crackled with the premonition of war, and clouds gathered over the monarchy itself. The nation teetered on the brink of King Edward VIII's abdication crisis. In this era of upheaval, when the opulence of the old world gave way to the sleek elegance of Art Deco, new symbols were born. It was then that the Duke of York, the future King George VI, a man not born for the throne but who accepted its burden, decided to bestow a gift upon his wife, Elizabeth. The commission wasn't simply sent to jewelers, it went to true architects of dreams, the House of Cartier. In Paris, they were known as jewelers to kings and the king of jewelers, and for good reason. Cartier was the first to harness platinum, fashioning it into light, almost ethereal lace-like designs that replaced cumbersome gold and silver. Their style was unmistakable. Clean lines, geometric precision, and the dazzling whiteness of diamonds, creating the illusion of frozen light. The Duke and Duchess of York needed something extraordinary. They sought not a bulky crown proclaiming power, but a delicate piece of jewelry that would accentuate the modern image of a young aristocrat. The idea was to create not a tiara in the traditional sense, but rather a halo, an almost weightless circlet of light that wouldn't overwhelm with grandeur, but gently frame the face. This was a commission that perfectly captured the zeitgeist, restrained luxury, self-assurance, rather than ostentatious wealth. The master artisans at Cartier outdid themselves. From platinum, they fashioned a composition of 16 scrolls, culminating in a central diamond. The entire surface of the tiara was adorned with 739 brilliant cut diamonds and 149 baguette-cut diamonds. Light striking them didn't just reflect, it fractured into thousands of sparks, creating that very effect of a radiant halo around the head. The piece was thus named the Halo Tiara. Initially, it was a personal gift, a token of love and support in troubled times. But history soon took a dramatic turn. The Duke of York became king, and his wife, Queen Consort Elizabeth. The tiara, in turn, became part of a new chapter. In 1944, the Queen gifted it to her elder daughter, Princess Elizabeth, for her 18th birthday. Thus, the exquisite ornament became a symbol of continuity, passing from one future queen to another. Yet, back in 1936, no one could have imagined that this circlet of light was destined to play a starring role in the most talked-about royal wedding of the 21st century. Let's momentarily set aside history and examine the Halo Tiara through the eyes of a jeweler. If you were to hold it in your hands, the first thing that would strike you is its deceptive lightness. Visually, it appears almost weightless, like frozen, frosted lace. Yet, touching it reveals the pleasant, reassuring heft of platinum, a metal that, in the 1930s, was a symbol of progress. It is stronger and rarer than gold, and its cool, almost lunar shimmer allows diamonds to reveal their full purity without adding unnecessary warm tones. The tiara's architecture is a virtuoso embodiment of the Art Deco style. There isn't a single superfluous element here. The base is a strict, almost mathematically precise sequence of scrolls that, like waves, build towards the center. Cartier jewelers consciously eschewed the floral motifs and ornate patterns of the previous century. Their creation is a hymn to geometry and purity of line. Every curve, every transition from one element to another is impeccable. But the real magic begins when light falls upon the tiara. 888 diamonds are not just an impressive number. They are an entire symphony of light, in which each violin has its own part. 739 brilliant cut stones are responsible for the play, a scattering of bright, iridescent sparks that ignite with the slightest movement, creating a lively, pulsating radiance. And the 149 baguette diamonds, with their strict rectangular facets, produce an entirely different effect. Cool, clear, almost mirror-like flashes. Their purpose is to emphasize the geometry and lend the structure a rigorous elegance. Upon closer inspection, one can discern the minute details that attest to the highest level of craftsmanship. The stones are set using the mill-grain technique, where a tiny, grainy border is applied along the metal edges. This method visually dissolves the platinum, creating the illusion that the diamonds are floating in the air, connected only by invisible threads of light. This isn't merely a setting, it's an artistic stroke that transforms a piece of jewelry into a work of art. The entire composition is designed to create the effect of a nimbus or halo. The tiara does not rise above the head like a crown, proclaiming power. Instead, it delicately embraces the hairstyle, creating a soft, diffused glow around the wearer's face. This ornament doesn't overpower, it enhances. In this lay the ingenious concept of Cartier and its first patron, to create a symbol not so much of might as of grace and light. If this tiara could emit a sound, it would not be a loud chime, but a quiet, crystal-like rustle, akin to the sound of freezing water. It doesn't shout its value, it whispers of impeccable taste. Hidden within it is the central paradox of great jewelry, dazzling luxury expressed with utmost restraint. This was more than just an ornament. It was a benchmark of elegance, born in a troubled era and destined for eternity. April 29th, 2011. The world, holding its breath, watched its screens. This wasn't just a wedding. It was an event promising to be the principal fairy tale of the new century. Billions of eyes were fixed on the doors of Westminster Abbey, awaiting the bride. What would the dress be like? How would she look? And of course, the main question for all connoisseurs, which tiara would she choose for her first step into the royal family? And then, a vintage Rolls-Royce stops at the Abbey. The door opens, and for a moment, everything stands still. Kate Middleton appears, and the world sees not just a bride, but a complete, flawless vision. An Alexander McQueen gown, an instant classic, a silk tulle veil, and beneath it, a delicate, almost modest glow. It was the halo tiara. The choice was brilliant in its restraint. It wasn't a shout about newfound status, but a delicate announcement of a new role. The tiara didn't dominate, it served. It gently held the veil, framed the face, creating that very effect of a luminous nimbus, which was embedded in its name. On this day, the ornament became the final chord that transformed Kate Middleton into Her Royal Highness, the Duchess of Cambridge. It wasn't merely an accessory, but a symbol of acceptance. Loaned by the Queen herself, the tiara became a silent yet eloquent gesture of blessing and inclusion into the very heart of the monarchy. The reaction was instantaneous and unanimous. Fashion critics gasped at the elegance and impeccable taste. Historians spoke of the symbolism of continuity, and ordinary viewers saw in this choice a respect for tradition, but without excessive pomp. Kate wasn't trying to outshine history. She was writing a new chapter within it. The halo tiara, having been preserved in the royal treasury for decades and appearing in public only rarely, suddenly achieved global fame. From that moment on, the ornament became inextricably linked with Kate's image. The shots of her walking down the aisle, standing on the Buckingham Palace balcony next to Prince William, in all of them, the halo tiara plays its quiet yet pivotal role. On that day, it ceased to be merely a historical artifact from Elizabeth II's collection. It became a symbol of hope, love, and a fairy tale come true before the eyes of the entire world, forever entering history as the wedding tiara of a future queen. After the wedding triumph, the halo tiara seemed to recede into the shadows once more. 2 years passed before Kate reappeared in a diadem in public. For her first official engagement at a diplomatic reception, she chose the graceful lotus flower tiara, a piece beloved by Princess Margaret. It was a beautiful but cautious step, a sort of trial run. The world waited to see which ornament would become her calling card, her true symbol, and the wait was worth it. In December 2015, at another diplomatic reception, the Duchess of Cambridge made a choice that everyone discussed. She wore the lover's knot tiara. This was not simply an appearance in new jewelry, it was a statement. For the lover's knot, tiara was inextricably linked with the image of her late mother-in-law, Princess Diana. From the moment Kate appeared in it, a silent dialogue began between two princesses of Wales, separated by time. The selection of this particular piece was a gesture of incredible tact and profound respect. Kate didn't merely wear a jewel, she embraced a part of Diana's legacy, showing the world that her memory was alive and revered within the family. The tiara itself, created by the jewelry house Garrard for Queen Mary in 1914, is an embodiment of romanticism. 19 pear-shaped pearls, suspended within diamond arches shaped like lovers' knots, sway with every movement, creating the sensation of a living, breathing ornament. These crystal tiers of pearls in Diana's hands became a symbol of her complex fate, full of both love and suffering. In Kate's hands, they acquired a new resonance, one of calm confidence and continuity. It was the lover's knot that became for Kate what the halo never quite did, her principal, signature ornament. She wore it to the most important state banquets and diplomatic receptions year after year. This piece became an integral part of her official image, her royal uniform of the highest rank. If at her wedding she was a bride entering the family, then in the lover's knot tiara, she appeared as a self-assured senior member of the royal family, a future queen consort. Each of her appearances in this tiara became a topic of discussion. Experts compared her looks with Diana's, but Kate never copied. She gave the tiara new life, pairing it with contemporary gowns by Alexander McQueen or Jenny Packham. If for Diana, the tiara was part of a bold, sometimes dramatic 80s style, for Kate it became a symbol of timeless, enduring elegance. She wears it with royal dignity, but without cold detachment. Thus began the golden age of the lover's knot tiara in the hands of a new icon. From a symbol of one princess's tragic fate, it transformed into a sign of stability and the confident future of the monarchy in the hands of another. It was this tiara, not the wedding one, that became the true calling card of Kate Middleton, the Princess of Wales, showing the entire world how one can gracefully carry not only the weight of diamonds, but also the burden of a great history. Behind the dazzling sparkle of tiaras, especially the lover's knot, lies a history full of unspoken truths and even quiet sorrow. And the first secret is hidden in its very name. Many refer to it as the Cambridge lover's knot, but that's not entirely accurate. It is a well-documented fact. The tiara worn by Kate and Diana is an ingenious copy, created for Queen Mary. However, the fate of the original Cambridge lover's knot tiara, which belonged to her grandmother, Princess Augusta of Hesse, is shrouded in mystery. At some point in the 20th century, it was sold at a Christie's auction and vanished into private collections. Where is it now? Who owns it? This is one of those jewelry enigmas that remains unsolved to this day. But the primary shadow cast over Queen Mary's lover's knot tiara is, of course, its poignant association with Princess Diana. For Diana, this exquisite piece became a powerful emblem, not merely of royal status, but of the immense burden of an unhappy marriage. Numerous accounts attest that Diana found the tiara incredibly heavy and cumbersome. Its swinging pearls produced a soft, rhythmic clatter with every turn of her head, and the sheer weight of the elaborate creation reportedly triggered severe headaches for the princess. This physical discomfort became an almost palpable metaphor for her deep emotional suffering. In the eyes of millions, the lover's knot tiara transmuted from a symbol of eternal love into the very crown of a tragic princess, a beautiful yet agonizing burden. Whether legend or stark reality, many palace insiders whispered of the tiara possessing a somber, almost melancholic aura. It had, they said, witnessed far too many tears and disappointments within the hallowed walls of Kensington Palace. When Kate first adorned herself with it, many wondered, was she too inheriting this sorrowful legacy? Yet, with her characteristic poise and dignity, she seemed to cleanse the piece of its past, turning a fresh page in its storied history. Nonetheless, each time we glimpse this tiara upon her, it's impossible not to recall the one who wore it before and the silent drama of which it stood witness. Another mystery, though decidedly less scandalous, surrounds the recent reappearance of the Strathmore Rose tiara. The question that captivated jewelry experts worldwide was elegantly simple. Where had it been for nearly 100 years? The piece, originally gifted to the Queen Mother in the 1920s, had simply vanished from public sight. There were no whispers of its sale, no rumors of it being dismantled. The most plausible theory posits that the tiara, with its delicate floral design characteristic of the 1920s, was deemed too fragile and outmoded for the more monumental styles of later eras. It simply lay tucked away in a royal vault, patiently awaiting its moment to shine once more, and the intrepid individual bold enough to bring it back to life. Its protracted slumber was, in itself, a different kind of enigma, a testament to shifting tastes and the rigorous filtering of royal selection. Thus, every appearance of Kate in a tiara is imbued not only with radiant sparkle, but also with the soft whispers of history. It carries the enigma of a lost original, the poignant echo of Princess Diana's personal tragedy, and the nearly century-long oblivion of a floral masterpiece. These ornaments are far more than mere jewels. They are silent keepers of secrets, revealed to us only in fleeting glimpses through the mesmerizing play of light across their diamond facets. For the lover's knot tiara, the end of an era arrived not at an auction house, nor through theft. It was a quiet, formal affair, and all the more dramatic for it. Following her divorce from Prince Charles, Princess Diana was, by strict protocol, required to return the precious ornament to the Queen. This was no mere exchange of a piece of jewelry. It was an act of profound farewell to a role, to a future, to the very fairy tale that had tragically unraveled. The moment the tiara left Diana's possession marked the symbolic closure of an entire chapter in the annals of the British monarchy. The beautiful yet burdensome crown was set aside, seemingly forever. And after her tragic passing in 1997, the tiara fully transitioned into a venerated relic. It was too intimately entwined with Diana's image, too deeply steeped in her history and sorrow. To wear it, it seemed, would be to challenge the cherished memory of the people's princess. And so, for a long 18 years, the lover's knot receded into the shadows. This dazzling ornament, once sparkling across continents, simply vanished from sight, securely ensconced within the royal vaults. It was a period of profound oblivion, when the tiara transformed from a vibrant accessory into a museum piece that no one dared to display publicly. A similar, though decidedly less dramatic fate, befell other tiaras. The lotus flower tiara, a cherished favorite of Princess Margaret, also retreated from the public eye after her passing, patiently awaiting a new wearer who would appreciate its delicate geometry. But the Strathmore Rose tiara lingered longest in the shadows. After the young Elizabeth Bowes-Lyon wore it in the 1920s, the piece disappeared for nearly a century. Its gentle, almost girlish floral design was likely deemed too fragile and perhaps unsuitable for the gravitas befitting a queen consort. It simply slumbered in its velvet box, missing an entire era. And so, for each of these tiaras, an era drew to a close. It wasn't a dramatic finale marked by an auctioneer's gavel, but rather a prolonged, hushed dormancy. These jewels, crafted to radiate brilliance, lay in darkness, their glittering facets safeguarding the memories of those who wore them in their moment of glory. The world paused, wondering if these masterpieces would ever again grace the spotlight. Then came December 2015, the annual diplomatic reception at Buckingham Palace. The initial photographs, snatched through car windows, sent the internet into a frenzy. Connoisseurs and admirers across the globe strained to decipher the blurred images, scarcely believing their eyes. And when the official photographs emerged, all doubt vanished. After 18 years of silence, the lover's knot, Tiara, had returned. And it was a true culmination. Its second coming, on Kate Middleton, was nothing short of triumphant. This ornament, which had become almost synonymous with Diana's tragic fate, acquired an entirely new resonance. Where it had appeared on the Princess of Wales as a beautiful yet painful burden, on the Duchess of Cambridge it radiated with a calm, confident luminosity. An astonishing transformation had occurred. From a symbol of personal drama, the tiara evolved into a beacon of dynastic steadfastness and a respectful nod to the past. Kate made no attempt to eclipse the memory of her mother-in-law. Instead, she embraced her legacy with dignity, breathing new life into it. But just when it seemed the biggest jewelry sensation had already unfolded, and Kate's role as guardian of Diana's legacy was firmly established, she made a move no one anticipated. November 2023, a state banquet honoring the President of South Korea. The Princess of Wales appeared in a tiara that hadn't been seen in public for almost a century, the Strathmore Rose Tiara. This was not merely a return, it was a resurrection. The emergence of this floral masterpiece, long considered almost mythical, a relic from the Jazz Age, marked a truly momentous occasion. This was no longer just a gesture of respect toward Diana. This was a powerful declaration of Kate's own stature. She showed that she would not limit herself to merely the most famous jewels. She, the future queen, was delving into the royal treasury, exploring its deepest, most forgotten corners, and reviving entire epochs of history. She forged a direct connection not just with the recent past, but with the legacy of the legendary Queen Mother, another enduring symbol of the monarchy's resilience and longevity. Each of these grand reappearances on the public stage exponentially increased the tiara's value. Their worth is now measured not only in carats and the clarity of their stones. A new, invaluable chapter has been added to their historical provenance, a chapter detailing how the future Queen of Great Britain brought them back from the shadows. Their second birth, in the hands of Kate Middleton, transformed them from mere relics of the past into living, shimmering symbols of the British monarchy's future. So, where do these treasures reside when they are not adorning the head of the Princess of Wales? Unlike many legendary jewels sold at auction and permanently housed in the silent halls of museums, the fate of these tiaras is entirely different. They are precisely where they belong, at the very heart of the British monarchy, within its treasury. Formerly part of the royal collection, they do not belong to any single individual, not even the monarch himself. They are held in trust for his successors and for the nation. Their home lies within the securely guarded vaults of Buckingham Palace, where they rest alongside other dynastic relics, patiently awaiting the next grand state occasion. This means their status has been forever altered. The halo tiara is no longer merely a bridal accessory. It is a historical artifact, immortalized in billions of photographs and etched into the chronicles of the 21st century. The lover's knot is not just a diadem. It is a silent witness to two eras, two princesses of Wales whose destinies captivated the world. Every public appearance they make is not a fashion statement, but an act of profound state importance, a meticulously crafted message of continuity, stability, and deep reverence for history. Attempting to assign a monetary value to them is almost pointless. These jewels are priceless, and that's not just a pretty turn of phrase. Of course, one could calculate the market value of the platinum, hundreds of antique-cut diamonds, and perfectly matched pearls. One could add a premium for the distinguished stamp of the greatest jewelry houses, Cartier and Garrard. But all of this would amount to only a tiny fraction, a mere shadow of their true worth. Their genuine value is derived from the intangible, from their provenance. The story of the halo tiara, journeying from a gift to a future king for his bride to the wedding diadem of a future queen, is utterly unique and irreproducible. And the narrative of the lover's knot, intimately linked with the names of Queen Mary, Queen Elizabeth II, Princess Diana, and now Princess Catherine, is a veritable diamond-studded family tree. No auction house in the world could ever fully appraise such a weight of history, love, and drama. Therefore, they will never appear in the catalogues of Christie's or Sotheby's. They are an inalienable, radiant part of British heritage. So, we return to the question where it all began. Why has the future Queen of Great Britain worn only 4 tiaras in so many years? The answer is now evident. This isn't about modesty or protocol limitations. It is jewelry diplomacy of the highest order, where each appearance is a meticulously calibrated word in a silent dialogue with history. Kate Middleton's choices have never been random, for she wears more than mere precious stones. She wears messages. The halo tiara on her wedding day was her first utterance, a word of profound respect. She didn't loudly proclaim her new status, but delicately wove herself into the centuries-old tapestry of the dynasty, accepting a blessing from the Queen. It was an impeccable debut, showcasing her nuanced understanding of her new role. The lover's knot became her most significant statement. By donning the tiara, inextricably linked with Diana's tragic image, Kate took her boldest and most crucial step. She did not shy away from comparisons. She embraced a heavy legacy, and through her calm demeanor and dignity, gave it a fresh interpretation, one not of drama, but of strength, continuity, and eternal remembrance. But it was her appearance in the Strathmore Rose tiara, which had lain forgotten for almost a century, that truly marked her coming of age. This was a gesture not merely from a princess, but from a future monarch consort, a historian, and a guardian. She demonstrated that her connection to the royal treasury runs far deeper than simply following in the footsteps of her predecessors. She possesses the ability to unearth and revive forgotten masterpieces, weaving new, unexpected threads into the monarchy's story. Ultimately, each of these 4 tiaras is more than just an ornament. It is a mirror. Their facets reflect the modesty of a bride, the dignity of a duchess, and finally, the wisdom of a future queen. They are the physical embodiment of grand narratives, human destinies, and the enduring strength of tradition. These cold, gleaming artifacts prove one simple truth. True masterpieces don't just adorn history, they write it. And the history that the Princess of Wales is writing before our very eyes promises to be no less magnificent than the sparkle of her diamonds.